In this video, I will show you how I created this and got all these nice colors. So this video is really about how to color grade and stuff like that to get beautiful colors in your composition. Right, so in this tutorial, I want to focus on how to get all these colors popping out. So before we get to color grading, I want to make sure we have a nice composition. So I download all these leaves here. I got all these leaves here downloaded, and I will link these leaves in the description of the video. These are all PNG files, so you don't have to waste time on cutting all them out. So this you can do really fast if you just download them all and place them around this leopard. And after that, we will do some color grading and get really nice colors and lighting. So first I will do this, get all these leaves in this composition, and let me fast forward this. Now, once you got them all in this composition, you can just press Ctrl Command J and duplicate this. So instead of searching for really different leaves, this doesn't really matter. We're gonna blur some of these leaves out and some not. So I'm just gonna make sure I have like a bunch of stuff around it so it doesn't look empty. And after that, I can do some changes to the lighting and colors and all the other stuff. So try to fit this whole composition with all these leaves. So for instance, don't use like the same leaf next to each other. If you want to duplicate this, just move them a bit around, rotate them so you don't see a pattern there. So something like this. Maybe this flower is too bright. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to get rid of that just to make sure we have a bunch of leaves. Right now, next thing, I want to have some leaves in front of it. So for this, I'm going to put some leaves like above all the other layers. Like for instance, this one, let's copy this one and put it above it and make this really big. So I have a bit of a depth here. Maybe this is too big, like that. And give it a Gaussian blur, because I feel like this is like, we don't have much depth in this image. So if I just give this a bit of a blur, we can create some nice depth, and your eye thinks that the quality of the image is better of this leopard when I do this. But in fact, it's just nothing changed to the leopard. It's just we create a bit of a depth here. Just a bit of like these blurred out things in front of it. Maybe here. Don't want to have it too much. Just a couple of those. Let's do another one from... Let's do this one. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to duplicate it, put it above all the other layers. Make sure to make it bigger. And after that, just go to filter blur and give it a Gaussian blur, and that's pretty much it. Just make sure it isn't blurred out like too much. This is not right, so you need to train your eye a little bit to understand which one is better. If you got that done, you need to make sure these colors are not saturated like this one. So this is the only leaf I will change here. I'm gonna press Ctrl U or Command U and drop the saturation to get rid of these bright green colors. I don't want that. We will make these leaves better in color when we are done with everything here. So let's put some here, maybe a bit more here. Only thing that is bothering me here is this thing that is laying on. I want to get rid of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a water reflection here instead of this thing. If you want to have like this file to make this, I will link this up in the video. I'm not gonna explain how to create this. I have another video on that, so just go to that video and watch that one first if you want to create this water reflection. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to select these layers that are behind him and this leopard also. Let's see, this one, we don't need that one. And just press Ctrl J, press Ctrl E to rasterize it, so we have one layer. And now let's go to edit, transform, flip this vertical. Now I want to get rid of this one. I want to make like the water start somewhere there. Think something like this. So first put them in position where you want the water to start, like this. Make sure it's like parallel to the image. So not like this, because this doesn't look right, but exactly at the place where you want this water to start. So something like this, and just go to distort and displace and select this file that you can find in the video that I linked here up. So you can see we get these water ripples. Now I'm gonna give it a bit curves because I want to have it water a bit darker like that. So that's really easy. All right, now we can work on this thing. All right, this is a little bit annoying here, so I'm gonna move this to another place. I think this looks better. All right, let's start on working on the background here. I have two files that I downloaded. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. Let me show you how they look. So this is the first one I have. This is like really green background. I think this looks pretty nice, but the only problem here is I cannot do some lighting in the background, and I actually wanted some lighting in the background. Or I can do this one. I found this one also. This one makes it a bit more magical, so not real anymore, but it all depends on what you want to do with the image. So I think I like them both, so it's really difficult to decide for me which one to use. So either this one or this one. The good thing about this one is I can create lighting here in the background. So let me rasterize these layers and go to filter, blur, lens blur. Now with the lens blur, you can create a beautiful blur like that. All right, now we have all our focus on this leopard. And let's also do the same with this background. I'm just gonna do both backgrounds and decide later which one I'm going to use. Just bring the radius to about 70. And that's it. Just give it a bit of blur. This one looks more natural. Maybe if we drop the opacity and put this one behind it. Let's see how that looks. So it can also work. So we have actually both. Let's do both. This is fine. All right, now I can work on the lighting a bit. This leopard here, we can start making shadows. So first let's do some curves. So on top of it, press this thing so it only affects it. And let's get rid of these highlights first. Somewhere around there. This is nice. And now we can bring some parts back. So this is actually what I always do to create nice lighting. So press on the mask of it, select the black brush, and first decide which one you want the lighting to be. I want my lighting, I think, on the left side here somewhere or above it. So I'm gonna make this side lighter. Now, with all these spots here, let's also make this spot lighter. It's gonna look really good. Bit here, let's also do his head. And also I make the highlight like that. I think we get some lighting here if you have light source on the left side. Here, let's do his paw here. And a bit here. Let's do his face here in the center also. Just this side I want to have darker. So if this was before, this after, you can see we create a nice shadow here. Right, next one is to create a new layer and press right mouse and create a clipping mask. And then go to edit fill and fill this with 50% gray. Change the blend mode to overlay. So now we have a separate layer that we can use for either the burn tool or the dodge tool. With the burn tool, I can make areas darker. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do a bit of these highlights first. This is even too much. Let's drop it around 30 to make some areas even darker, especially here where we get to the water. You can see we need to make this water even darker. This looks not real. But let's do a bit here. Later on, I will move these leaves around because they look a little bit weird now. But let's do lighting first. I like to work on the lighting. Do some midtones here. Just a bit darker on this side. That's pretty much it. Don't have to do much here. And some shadows. And bring this down around 5%. Make this dark. Oh, make sure you don't move this layer around because it's gonna look really weird. So you can see here we get a bit more dark areas. I will fix this part later here. Right, next one is to create another of this 50% gray layer, and this time I'm going to use the dodge tool. And with the dodge tool I can make areas lighter. So change the blend mode to overlay again, and first thing I always do is to lighten up the eyes like that. So that's really easy. You can see how cool this gets. So this is nice. This Looks really, really cool now. And let's do midtones and drop this a bit. I'm gonna make a separate layer for this. I like to have a separate layer for the eyes only. So if I later on just want to make the eyes lighter or darker, I can just change the opacity of that one. So let's do this on a separate layer, and here I can do some Dutch. A little bit more lighting on this side. I don't want to do it too much because when I do it too much, it just ruins the image and it looks really weird. So I'm gonna try a bit of maybe just shadows here and drop the opacity. Let's see, we get a little bit more highlights here. Don't want to have too much. This is really light already, so if you don't do it too much, it's just gonna get white and you won't see any more details, and that's not what I want. Let's do a bit like here, here. Let's see, this was before and it's after we get a bit of these highlights. It's not much, but I think it helps a little bit. Make it a bit better. Let's see if we can do a bit more here. Maybe his ear. Now let's leave that part dark. Right, this is a place that you don't want to touch. It's too white already. I think this looks fine. So this was before and this after. We get a bit more of these highlights. All right, now we can move a bit of these around so it looks natural, because this looks like it's just floating around. I don't want to have it like that. I want to make sure it looks like real plants around it and not like some just floating around plants. So I'm gonna move this a bit around to fill this whole thing up, and after that I can show you how to do some nice color grading here. So just make something like that. Maybe you don't even need this one. This one is annoying. Maybe just a bit, but darker. So I'm gonna drop the lightness. So if you press Ctrl U, you can bring the screen up and drop the lightness a bit. All right, this one, that water. Let's see, this is our water. Needs to be darker now because we made this leopard dark. Maybe just a bit like that. This looks really weird here. So we need to get rid of that part. Let's move this around. Let's see if I just move these things around and make sure we don't have these leaves here, because we have water there and not leaves. Let's put them behind them. All right, so to fix this thing here, the best thing to do is get rid of these leaves there, and let's see if I have this layer of water. This is our reflection layer. I'm just gonna use the clone stamp tool so I can make sure this water also goes like a little bit there behind it. First I'm just gonna clone stamp this like that. Doesn't have to be precise, whatever, like that. And now I can just brush a bit away, just make a mask first. So let's see, this looks a bit weird. I'm gonna make sure you don't see these blocks or whatever they are. Just gonna clone stamp this like it's water. Maybe that's too much. And just brush this away when you press on this layer and select the black brush. You can brush these things away. Let's see, black brush. So we need to make sure we can see the paw. Also this one. Now it looks like this water is going like behind him. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not really important here. All right, so I'm gonna make sure I have enough leaves around it, and after that I will show you how to do lighting and colors. Let's make this thing more magical. I have these butterflies here. I'm going to add some butterflies to this to give it a bit more life instead of just one leopard here. I'm going to put these butterflies above all the other layers so you can see them all when you just put them in this composition. So just place them around this leopard and create something cool. And see, I chose the blue background instead of the other one because with the blue one I can have a bit more contrast between this leopard in the background. So I'm gonna go for the blue one. It's also more colorful, and that's exactly what I want to do here. All right, let's make a new layer, and we need to make a little bit of a light source on this side. So I'm just gonna make a new layer, sample some color from this background, and move it like to the left upside to get it more like too white. Now just make a dot like this, make it bigger, and that's pretty much it. You can also change the blend mode to screen to make it more pop like that. Let's make this even bigger. So we have some nice lighting on this side now, and I think this is enough for the lighting. You can also try to duplicate it and have more lighting if you want, or change the blend mode to overlay and get more colors. Let's do like that. This is fine. Maybe move it around like that. Duplicate it another time if you want. But I think this gets too much, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. All right, I have this composition like ready for how I want it. It looks nice to me. And now what I'm going to do is I need to do color grading now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way up, create a new layer, and press Command or Control Mac Alt Shift E. So I have a duplicated version of everything. And now I'm just gonna go here and create a convert to smart object, and then go to filter, camera raw filter, and in camera raw filter I can blend all these colors nice together. So here first I would do is to adjust these settings slightly. Let's drop this a bit. This is a bit too bright, and this is the contrast. Let's leave the contrast. This is the highlights. We can increase those a bit. The shadows we can make a bit darker. The whites, let's see what happens here. I'm gonna drop the whites a bit because I feel like when you have too much white, it loses the details. And the blacks let's leave the blacks. Now if you drop the texture, we get a softer effect, but we need to make sure we see the details, so I'm gonna increase the clarity, maybe a bit like that. Let's see this one, let's leave that one. And if I increase the vibrance, I can get a bit more colors here. Okay, I think this looks fine. Maybe a little bit less, like +5. All right, moving on to this. Don't need this. Let's add a bit of a sharpening and some luminance to make it look like the quality is a bit better. Not too much because it's gonna get like bad quality. It's gonna get like too much sharpening. All right, this is the important part for color grading. Here I will try to make something really cool out of these colors. So I just gonna move this around, see what happens. You can see here the background gets lighter, so this is better. Moving that to the right. This is like the highlights of this leopard. Let's bring this a bit up. Let's see the yellow. Let's bring this a bit down. Now this is from all the plants. You can see here how we can change that. This is really cool. And let's see how we do it. Let's make them a bit lighter. This is from our background. Here we can adjust this one. You can see here it's get like this white border around it, around this leaf. So I don't want that, just a bit. The blue. Let's drop a bit of this blue. Let's see purple. We have purple a bit in the background. And this is also good. Now next is saturation. Here we also going to do changes. This I'm going to drop all the way down. This I'm going to increase because I want this leopard to be colorful. And also the yellow bit up like that. All right, this is really cool. Now I can decide what I want to do. You can make it like really colorful if you bring this up, or you can go for this way to make it look more real. So I'm gonna go a bit to the left. This is our background lighting. Let's drop that a bit. And this is also a background. I'm going to do it like that. And this is our background again. Drop that one. And also drop this. And let's do some hue. Just move these sliders on, see how that changes. This is really nice. I can make him a bit more orange. And move this a bit to the left. And here I will change the greens to something like this. This looks really cool. Not too much. Yeah, this also looks nice, but it doesn't look real anymore. I want to make sure it looks real, really colorful and real. And this is our background. Let's see. We can even change the background color here. Maybe this is nice. but this doesn't look real anymore, so I don't want to have it too much. I think this looks fine, maybe a bit less. And this one. All right, moving on. The colors are looking really good now, so I'm gonna check what happens when I just move these sliders. So the best way to just move these sliders and see how it changes. Now we can add some vignette to this to make it more mysterious. Let's not touch that one. And moving on, let's leave that one also. And here we can also do some nice changes. So usually I just move the green one and the red one around like that. Let's do the green one. So you can see here we get a really different kind of tone to this image. So I'm gonna increase this a bit like that. This is really colorful now. Let's see if we move this a bit. And also like that. This is, I think this is too much. I'm not gonna do that. Right, that is pretty much it. And just press OK, and you can see how we changed these colors to something really colorful and beautiful. So that's pretty much it. That's how easy this is done. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out one of these if you want to learn more. Till then, see you in the next video.